For those of you who don't know, our good friend Woodrow Wilson Wagner, sitting right here, running in this big race for city council.
Indeed.
What's the seat, Woodrow? Help me out.
It's District 3.
Can you bring it up?
Yeah.
There you go, brother. There you go.
Take this off here.
Yeah, District 3 against your opponent is April Butler.
April Butler, yes.
Yeah, and so this is a hot race because we got two great candidates, right?
Absolutely.
You know, I want to brag on you, and
Okay.
I try to make every time Emmett
Did you
comes
say
in-
hot candidates or great candidates?
hot.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
Well, hot meaning it's a hot race.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah. But I always try to make Emmett look good, and he always tries to make me look good, and I appreciate that for all these years you've been here, Emmett. Thank
Well, thank you, sir.
you. Yeah, yeah.
We try. That's all we can say.
We try. But, you know, and again, everybody that comes on this radio program should have their say. And so you came to, and I'm not mentioning the name of the school, you came to the school that you attended before.
Yes.
Right? This last 2 weeks, and you gave a presentation to my senior government class. And I swear to God, I thought I was at a John Birch Society meeting. I mean, and not, you know, I know somebody calling somebody else a Bircher because I never liked that. But I mean, it was, and this is something that you do that I don't. And when I become a teacher of your status, I'll be very happy. Now, you did an excellent job. I'm not pulling your leg at all. But you had all of these different reasons going back to the Magna Carta, I believe, in 1246, whatever it was, why we have the United States Constitution and why we have free people in the United States, why we're the envy of the world, and most of all, why we have inalienable rights. That only God can grant those rights, but only God can take those rights away.
Amen.
I mean, you know, I mean, what more can you say, right?
Absolutely. It's something that a lot of our students don't realize.
Right.
The whole lecture was called A City Upon a Hill.
Yeah.
And that's that great speech that John Winthrop gave in 1620, right? Came
Yep.
over on the Mayflower.
Yep.
And it was such an essential part of the DNA of the United States of America before there was a United States of America.
First elected official in the United States,
First
to my memory.
elected official that would
Okay.
become the United States.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was so great to see your students like, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
And some of the things that they're studying start to make sense. So thank you for having me. It was a wonderful, wonderful time.
You're really a good. I can't hold a candle to you. You're really a good instructor.
Well, he's in the big leagues.
Yeah. I'm just.
I don't know about that.
I'm just a schlep.
He's university scholastic.
oh, yeah.
Scholarship.
Very scholarly.
You know, so come on, Bill. You can't compete.
Which isn't
and
always a
compare
good
yourself.
thing, Emmett, you know.
Hey, let's go right into the campaign.
Absolutely.
Tell us what's happening. It seems to be pretty exciting. I see a bunch of signs out.
Yes, I have signs, Bill, finally, yes. I was listening to the show yesterday, Bill,
Yeah.
and I sensed there was a lot of frustration about the bureaucracy in Victoria city government. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And our good friend Dr. Fox has just come in, and she might be able to...
No, she's going to come in and talk the other 15 minutes
All
as
right.
we go forward.
But Dr. Fox, I think, can appreciate this bureaucracy in Victoria specifically, overwhelming what the citizens' will is. And you know what I think, Bill? We need somebody who can navigate that bureaucracy.
Who could that be?
That could possibly, Bill, be me. And I'm going to tell you why. For the last 25 plus years
Yeah.
in higher ed, people say, oh, you're a college professor, you're an egghead. Okay, sure, whatever. But part of being in that higher ed environment is navigating bureaucracy.
Right.
And sifting through and finding
Amen,
especially money for students, for teachers, for whoever the constituency is.
Sure.
And I can tell you in the last 5 years at UHV, I found 5.3, and I'm going to keep repeating this number, $5.3 million for UHV. 2.3 in a Title III grant for the Department of Ed. They didn't just give us the money. We had to apply for it. We had to go through all the hoops. We had to sift through the bureaucracy and get that money.
Yeah.
2.3 million, Bill, UHV didn't have before. Then we have our legislative appropriations process. UHV, like all public universities, submit that to the Texas legislature. We had a very ambitious ask list. Frankly, Bill, we didn't get a lot of what we wanted, but we did get something. We got $3 million for an aviation program. And I am proud to say that I was very instrumental in helping our provost bring that aviation program, not just to the legislature, but to Congressman Cloud, to other members of Congress, to our own Victoria City Council, our own County Commissioners Court, and making that happen. Okay, so let's recap, Bill. That's $5.3 million.
Right.
Woodrow Wilson Wagner, school teacher, egghead, whatever you want to call him, has helped find for UHV. That's what Victoria City Council needs more than anything else. Somebody who can navigate that city bureaucracy, who understands how to go through it, to what conversations to have with what government agent. And again, having business experience, I think, is important. And my opponent, she is a fantastic businesswoman.
Yeah,
she is a
she's really
fantastic
smart. Right.
community leader. She does excellent things for this community. So her business acumen is fantastic. But I would say this, running a business and running the government is not exactly the same thing. As your co-host, Emmett Alvarez, I'm sure can attest. He's actually somebody who ran a government for Congressman Greg Laughlin, right? Right here in Victoria. He knows that the same principles you use as a business owner don't always apply when you're trying to run a government. You can't do things unilaterally. You have to show every single penny that you spend. And that's something I've done for the last 5 years, Bill. I have to file reports for the Department of Ed showing every single penny of that $2.3 million, how it was spent, who it was spent on, what we bought. Was it a stapler? Was it a new faculty line? Was it whatever? I have to show that. And so I think that experience gives me the ability to be an effective city council member to understand what that role is. I don't know if that was your question, Bill, but that's what I went with.
Well, and I can just agree with you that, it is a big bureaucracy.
Amen.
At whatever level. But I think one of the more important job tasks, whatever you want to call it, as a council member, is to be the liaison with the city and your constituents. Because sometimes they hit a brick wall and they get very frustrated, and they don't know where to turn to.
Absolutely.
Or where to call, or any of those type of things to get some relief or their issue addressed at the city level.
Absolutely.
And, that's where you come in. And even council, when there's a bad regulation, a bad local policy, something that is just, from ancient times, let's say, that we're trying to enforce.
Right.
It's time to clean the books and deregulate when you can, et cetera.
A point that you brought up the other day that I think might lend you some more credibility is your stance on the Democrat Party. And when both of us go out, you do for Democrat, I do for Republicans, people, even in a nonpartisan race, wants to know what party you're in and how it falls down. That's the first question, to be truthful, right?
Absolutely.
We all want to know. Maybe you could go into that a bit for us.
Absolutely. On September the 11th, 2023, I made a very difficult but very necessary decision. I resigned. I went to the county courthouse and resigned as the chair of the Democratic Party. I did so because I did not think that this local party reflected the values of the people here in Victoria, specifically on the issue of religious liberties, specifically on the issue of abortion. We had, for many years and decades, I was born and raised here, Bill, you know that.
Of course.
Conservative Democrats.
And your father was a very prominent
My father,
guy.
my grandfather, multiple generations of our family. Go down Wagner Way by Country Club. That's the old homestead. It's not there anymore because Texas Concrete took it over, but that's where the Wagners come from. Wagner Way, that's us. Anyway, I found that I was no longer compatible with those, or maybe they were no longer compatible with me, that I leave the Democratic Party or the Democratic Party leave me. The bottom line is we used to have leaders like Greg Laughlin, who Emmett worked with, like Kenneth Armbruster, like Judge Pat Kelly, like Don Pozzi, like Wayne Dearlum, who were conservative Democrats and not afraid to say that abortion is murder. And they were welcome at the meeting, and they were allowed to start the meeting with a prayer. That is no longer the case with the current climate of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
So for me, Bill, it was a very easy decision. My father, as you know, who recently passed, he and I had a very long conversation about that. And finally he said, "What the hell are you doing? Get the hell out of that." He didn't even call it that. Get the hell out of that. And after he passed, I decided it was the time to do that. So people can keep saying, Woodrow's a Democrat, Woodrow's a liberal, Woodrow's this. Woodrow is the same human being he was when he was born on August the 20th, 1974, right down the road at Detour Hospital. Ask people who educated Woodrow at OLV, at St. Joe, who babysat Woodrow, who have known him his whole life. Woodrow is a Christian conservative who believes strongly in conservative principles. And because of that belief, he left the Democratic Party very publicly. And of course, the video and the transcript's available for anybody who wants to see that. So, yeah, that comes up a lot. Like, what party are you running for? Well, first of all, city council is nonpartisan. Second of all, people keep saying you're a Democrat. No, I'm not a Democrat. This last, it's on record, I asked for a Republican ballot. So does that make me Republican? It makes me, I think, an independent.
There you go.
That I am going,
There's hope for Emmett. Okay. There's hope for Emmett.
I'm going to vote for the best candidate, Bill, the best person for the job. That's who I am. I'm not getting into a partisan thing right now, and I'm certainly not part of the Democratic Party. So people can stop saying Woodrow Wagner, Democrat. Woodrow Wagner, conservative. Woodrow Wagner, Holy Family member, founding family of Holy Family. One of the first 100 families was our family, Bill. So these are conservative, pro-life credentials that hopefully people will recognize and accept. That was a long answer to your question.
No, it's really amazing. People have a lot of preconceived notions about a lot of the lot of our candidates,
Sure.
And I love them to come on the show and just tell us what you believe, because of people. It's amazing. This little tiny jerkwater radio program we have. I go to HEB. People,
hey, come on, that's a great.
No, Bill. I'm over in the produce aisle. Bill, love the program today. That Woodrow was fantastic.
Oh, well.
Well,
and it's some 17-year-old person there. I mean, it's amazing.
Don't they call for my head?
Of course, always. It's amazing. I imagine Wade and Carter, we've only been on 3 years. I'm going on 4 years right now. But Wade and Carter's been 8. The feedback that they get, and they have a much better time slot, of course. So it's amazing when you put the word out there. So we appreciate you.
Here and
again, anybody that runs for office, Emmett, you've ran for office.
Too many times.
Yeah. I mean, but anybody that runs for office, you have to take your hat off and shake your head at him and say, more power to you, right?
And you've got to be yourself, Bill.
Amen,
you've got to be authentic.
Brother. Amen.
On September the 11th, when I left that county courthouse, I felt like I was me. I no longer had to say a script that others had prepared. I didn't have to check in with the talking points.
Right.
By the way, for a party that's so tolerant and inclusive, they can surely be exclusive and intolerant if you don't say exactly what they want to hear. For instance, if you try to say abortion is murder and a mortal sin, oh, no. There's no tolerance for that. When there used to be tolerance for that right here in Victoria in the Democratic Party. But I digress. I am who I am, Bill. I'm my own man. I'm a man of God. I am trying to live out the will that God had put for me here on earth to serve the people of Victoria. That's what I'm about. If anybody wants to ask questions, please come chat with me.
Yeah.
Call me. I have a website.
How would they do that?
Absolutely. please call me, 972-998-1786.
There you go.
That's my phone. You can text. You can call. winwithwoodrow.com.
There you go.
winwithwoodrow.com. More positions. We're going to start adding video clips. We have testimonials coming in.
Any
We have
endorsements?
some endorsements are coming in. So I'm very, very excited about the momentum we're building.
When is early voting start, Woodrow?
So early voting will start not this week. I'm sorry, not this next week, but the next week. So what are we looking at? The 22nd?
Oh gosh.
Somebody have a calendar?
Let me pull that up.
Not this Monday, but the next Monday.
Yeah, it's coming right up.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
Before you know it.
It starts on the 22nd.
22nd.
You know,
What, the 30th maybe, or the 3rd?
Right.
No?
Normally, we give our normal guests a half hour to talk, and I'm not trying to cut you off or whatever, but I do have Dr. Fox in
Absolutely.
here today.
Yeah, we gotta
She's
screw.
important. I don't
No,
I wanna get
because
Dr. Fox's way.
because of something that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So we want to have you back.
Absolutely.
Would you grace us with your presence?
I will. I want to thank you. I want to thank Emmett. I want to thank Dr. Fox for all the hard work she's
Amen.
doing.
Amen.
And I just want to remind people again of that number. $5.3 million.
Yeah.
That's what Woodrow Wagner did to sift through the bureaucracy to get that money for UHV. And I want to do the same thing for the Victoria City Council. Thank you so much, Bill.
Hey, we.